Good morning, everyone. Dan Goyette here, Hypnocaf Podcast. And of course, today is our end of the year show. So, pretty excited about that. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from so we can say hello and have a really great time. So, today we are talking about the journey for the Hypnocaf Magazine. Actually, it's not even that anymore, but we're going to talk about that journey. And here it is. So, here we are. That's now the Hypnoworld Magazine. That's the link you guys want to click. Should you want to subscribe to be in the know to the Hypnoworld Magazine, we just put out our winter issue for 2024, and we are getting ready to work on the summer issue for 2025. Oh, I put myself in there in the water jar. So, because I put that link out there. Sorry, guys, but that's okay. That being said, we've got some really great guests today, and we want to bring those on here in just a moment. So, and we're going to make that go away. So today we've got Amanda Dodd is here, Dennis Lawson is here, Vinny Brigance is here, and I believe we might even have Grant Saunders joining us at some point. So, but we're going to bring in our great guests one at a time. As you can see, I'm just clicking off their mics because they were on mute. So. And there's Amanda Dodd.
Morning.
And Vinny Brigance, along with Dennis Lawson. I want to thank you guys for being here today. These guys have contributed articles to the Hypnoworld Magazine as it stands now. But I'm going to take you back in time for just a moment. Sherman, set the Wayback Machine to 2022. Gosh, that sure is a long time, Mr. Peabody. Anybody remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
an all-time favorite.
Yes. I saved one right here, guys. 2022, the very first issue of the Hypnocaf Magazine that came out and coincided with the very first Michigan Hypnosis or My Hypno Conference. That was the worst name I ever came up with.
I understood.
He's like, here we go. So yeah, it was a good conference, bad name. I remember everybody going, so it's your conference? I tried to come up with a name that was, pithy and something that someone would remember. I'm like, My Hypno Conference. Oh, that was just horrible. But we put together the magazine. And why did I call it the Hypnocaf Magazine? I think some of you guys have asked me that question. I know Amanda has. What were you thinking? Why would you do that?
Oh, Dan.
That it came from the Navy. Actually, I don't know if any of you guys have had travel on the American plan as I did. But every time you would go over the overseas, you're in Europe, you would find yourself at a cafe. You could not find yourself at a cafe if you were in Europe. They were everywhere. They were like Dollar General stores here in Michigan or in the United States per se. So, but you would sit down, have a cup of coffee, and just the whole world was right there in front of me. It seemed like people were talking and moving and going by, and they would stop and sit down and talk with people at the cafe, and they weren't necessarily meeting up, but they would just be walking by like, oh, someone's there. Oh, they would sit and talk.
And they just happen to be French.
Yes. A lot of them were the French, of course, So, and that is just horrific. I am a really great Inspector Kizé.
Oh, man. My childhood, you're just butchering everything.
Bim, do you have any massages for me?
It's going to be a good podcast if Amanda's shaking her head already. I can
yeah.
tell it's going to be good. We got a good one.
We're going good. So we started the Hypnocaf Magazine, and Amanda is actually in this because we put all the first-time presenters that came there as a thank you, because we really didn't have a lot to offer that first conference. So we thought, let's do this. And it became, I wasn't sure that it was going to continue. Full disclosure, guys, I wasn't sure I was going to continue that magazine after the conference. Just something for the conference because we had the podcast that was going once a month. Hey, Jesse Lewis is here. Hey, Jesse, how's it doing? And Jesse agrees with you. It's going to be a good one. So we've got 6 people watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Somebody's going to win something if you guys are out there. And it might even be one of these guys here on the screen because I already see that Vinny is in the lottery jar. So, yeah, I'm rambling again. Someone stop me. So let's start with our guests. We're going to start with Vinny first down here. He gave us a great article for the Winner magazine. Let me get back on camera like a professional as I should be. I'm looking down. So he gave us a great article for the Winner issue of 2024, 1 million people. He is on a mission to get 1 million people to quit smoking. So, yeah.
I'm thrilled about this. And I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to talk about that, right? It's incredible. So just every little bit of exposure there is going to be so helpful. We're going to need all hands on deck. We're going to do it. We got to work together to make this happen. It's going to change the industry. It's going to change the world. I can't wait.
So, yeah. And the one thing I like about Vinny is his optimism and his incredible energy as a bitter paramedic. As someone who spent 30 years trying to help humanity in many ways, the one thing I have learned is to truly loathe humanity. No, so, I don't even like these people, man. But our journey at the magazine continues because we have great contributors like Amanda, like Dennis, like Nora Copel, Vincent Brigance. I almost said Vinny Brigance. Vinny.
You call me whatever you want, man.
Yeah. I just know I'm not allowed to take you to Vegas anymore. So no, I'm just kidding. And Amanda you've given us a couple good articles. I'm trying to think of the one.
The first one I want to say was about past life regression.
It was. Do we live? And I kind of gave that a title. And I know some of the guys, I'm going to pick their brain because they will send me an article. And the one thing when you're writing an article or you're putting together a magazine and somebody sends you an article is it's got to have a title that's going to grab people's attention and make them want to read it. I can't remember what I put down there. I think it was like, do we live life or lives? Something like that. One life or many lives. And for me, one is going to be enough. One. I just need the one. If I come back, I'm going to come. If there is such a thing as reincarnation, I'm going to be coming back as that angry Rottweiler that doesn't like people. I don't understand why he doesn't like people. He just never has.
I really didn't believe in past life regression when I started, but it turns out it keeps resolving all my problems, and I've become the freaking poster child.
No, yeah, but it was a good article.
Charged, Amanda. Me too.
So, yeah, it was a good article. It was well received. A lot of people liked it. And that was still when we were Hypnocaf Magazine. Because at that time, the podcast was really informing the magazine. What I was talking about on the podcast was going into the magazine. And then the dynamic changed. The magazine began to inform the podcast in ways that I did not anticipate. I also did not anticipate the magazine being read and shipped to 10 different countries now. Wow. So, yeah, it was just a huge surprise for me. Yeah. Oh, Nora says that she loved Amanda's article.
Thank you.
And then I know Dennis sent us an article on neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. And a lot of people really seem to like that article. I'm not sure if it was because it was all NLP. He convinced them to like it. So,
That's good.
yeah, that is. Little zinger there, Dennis. Sorry. It was a good article.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was well received, and a lot of people. I do get feedback on the magazine. Most of the times they're like, "Dude, there's a typo."
That wasn't me.
No. So,
Always an ongoing issue with publishing. You know, there are always critics out there, Dan. You just got to keep doing your job.
that's what I say.
Nora
And-
submitted a lot of great articles.
She did,
Yes.
and she
Wow.
put one in just for the winter issue that we put out, troubleshooting your clients.
Yeah.
So yeah. Go ahead, Vinny.
Oh, I just want to say, I think Nora's brilliant. She was one of the kindest souls when I got into this industry. Oh my goodness, she took care of me. She showed me around, hopped on lives with me, helped me with stuff. She's incredible. But the second thing, Dan, you know, if you take a step back and think about it, it's no surprise you're publishing in 10 countries. This is a fantastic resource for our community, and we're all lifelong learners. I think it's something you got to have, because you're going to get you can watch a video, but the time we spend writing something, and we know from all kinds of cool studies now, reading impacts your mind differently. Reading actual things you can hold. The retention, the things it does to your brain. So it doesn't shock me that plenty of people are finding a ton of value in signing up everywhere. I imagine those shipping costs are kind of funky, but
You know what?
I'm proud of you, Dan. That's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Just here recently, we have altered, or we are working on altering our shipping. Just because as we get more and more subscribers, and on the website through my hosting, there's some apps that I can utilize for shipping. Now I'm hoping that will streamline the shipping process. You know, because right now I'm batch shipping through USPS, and that is working. But as it continues to grow, I'm going to wonder, you know, how can we do this smoother? How can we do it better? How can I make it affordable and, you know, ease of access? And the other thing is, as you were talking about, when we first started this magazine, I think I did a poll on the Facebook page when it was almost brand new, asking people if they wanted it on virtual or if they wanted it print. Because at the time I was working with a company called, I can't remember now. It was all virtual. It was like you could flip through the magazine virtually. And what I got back overwhelmingly was print. There was a lot of screen, what's the word I'm looking for? Overdose. So, yeah, I guess. So, like, he overdosed on cat videos. I don't understand what happened there. So we decided to go with the print. Now, with that, and that part of that journey, I'm going to show you this in here. Amanda wasn't able to make it. They are just swamped getting their orders out through Dazzle Printing. This is the company, when I say it's at the printers, this is the company that does it. And when we put it together, I put it together with the higher quality paper. I could save money by using a lower quality paper in the magazine, but I don't feel that that is worthy of the magazine or worthy of the product. I don't always, whenever I do something, I never know if I'm doing it right or doing it wrong, but Amanda lets me know. So until I'm done doing it, did I do it right or did I do it wrong? I don't know until I'm done doing it. So when I put that together, I thought, you know what? It needs to feel as though you have something in your hand that is tangible and is worthy of that product. So we kind of went with Dazzle Printing.
I don't know if you know this, but I actually used to work in the print industry. So digital as well as offset, like the older style, and large format printing. So the fact that you do it in full color just delights me.
Yeah, that was another thing I wanted to do. That was part of our journey. I knew I didn't want to do it in black and white. And my inspiration from this kind of did come from the National Guild of Hypnotism, the Journal of Hypnosis. They put it out. And of course, I would read it because I'm a science guy. But the one thing I noticed, like, oh my goodness, this is so science heavy, and there's a lot of citations in it, and et al, and things that a layperson, I don't want to say that out loud, but a layperson might not understand. I understand it because I've been involved so much with research, Munson Medical Center, East Bay Medical Center, taking those classes through psychology and the research that you do within psychology, and then having to go through that CITI training for best practices in research. But I thought to myself, you know what? Everyone is not me. They may not understand this, and the print was kind of small. I don't want to put it down, but as we get older, where are they? Here we go. There they are. So my reading specs, if you will. So yeah.
I'm not adapting that belief.
No. He's like, I'm not adapting that belief.
Suggestion declined.
So yeah. Oh my goodness. Now Amanda derailed my train of thought. Where was I going?
Sorry.
The size of the
print.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I decided, that the print was going to be 10.2. It's easy to read. You can see it. It works out really well. Anything smaller than that, and you're straining to read it. So we wanted it to be easy to read as well. And it fits really well. And the layout comes into the point of fact, it has to be full color. It has to be, because here's the thing. If it's not, I think you're going to miss out on understanding the overall arc of the article. I know that Dennis has recently sent us one on the NATH conference. That's probably going to wind up in the summer issue. So looking forward to that. And I know that Vinny is got something that he's working on in his master class, and we're hoping he send us an article on that.
Oh, I'd love to.
Our podcasting queen right here, so is crushing it on trauma and transcendence through her podcast right there. So obviously she's going to be a resource when we're talking about podcasting. So yeah. I'll leave that up. Amanda. I'm shamelessly plugging Amanda right now.
Thank you. Season 2 is coming.
It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. And I got to ask, I'm going to start with Dennis, and we're going to go around. So how much writing have you done for magazines or articles or anything? I don't know. You know what I mean? Because it seemed really well, what you had written, and really well done.
Well, thank you for that. I started publishing in newsletters in the early 1990s when I was writing for the International Kempo Karate Association newsletter, the Martial Arts Learning Community newsletter. So I was publishing articles probably over the last 20 years now. And while those were specific to that discipline, there's a writing discipline that we all develop over the years, and that's really where the skill set came in. Now I'm working with a number of writers and artists within the framework of coaching about skill sets, and I've done a number of presentations for a local writing group, the Eastern Shore Writers Association, about developing intuition and how to use their unconscious mind to maybe become better writers in the process. So that's really where that background comes from, Dan.
Excellent. So yeah, because it was really well written. Excuse me. And then of course I know Amanda has just outed herself that she worked in the print issue and company. So I'm sure now that in my mind she's getting the magazine and going, oh dear God, what is that? How do you spell Garibnith? like that. I don't understand.
Actually, I didn't have anything to do with editing, thankfully. I was aiming towards graphic design and I never quite made it. Instead, I was procurement and outsourcing. So I was used to sending out projects that our shop couldn't do and then making sure we had all of the right kinds of paper, the right weights. If we needed something fancy done, like a die cut, I had to know who would do that for us in a timely manner.
No. That is really good. I will tell you the one thing about Dazzle printing, as I bring them back up here, doing the layout. When I'm doing the layout, I'm going to get to Vinny in here in just a second. When I'm doing the layout, Dazzle printing, when I started, I could just send them the layout PDF with the marks on it, and it came. Now they got this new software, and I refer to it as the blue line of death because they need all the text that I write or is written to fit in there. So the layout that I start with is oftentimes not the layout that we finish with. So it might take 4 or 5 passes back and forth between myself and Dazzle printing to get it right, to get the layout so that everything fits in there. And every once in a while, they'll squish. It'll get squished, but they are getting better at that. And I'm getting better at the layout every time I do it. So it becomes better and better and better. And then Vinny, there he is. Yeah, you sent the article on, well, it wasn't exactly an article because you didn't, I don't think oh my God, Grant's like, oh, is this now? Yes. Yeah, let me answer Grant. So.
Oh, what's up, man?
Yes,
If you're watching this video, I'm messaging Grant as I'm talking, whilst Grant is talking to me over here. So I'm like, yeah, hop on. So
So good.
So oops, I'm not on the right computer, guys. Hold on. So now I'm on the right computer, and they're falling. So I'm still messaging Grant. Nobody panic. It's
I really enjoyed the articles. This last issue was really, really good. There was the article on ego that was fantastic. Oh man.
Hold on. I think Grant is here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we found the wayward Grant Saunders, and we are bringing him on now. There he is.
Yay.
Fashionably late as ever.
Better late than never. Fresh from his
I saw the
Victoria
message and
show
I'm like,
last
is this
night.
now?
Is that now? Could I do it on a bit of the never, never, a little now and then some of the. So yeah, and it does become an interesting podcast. I grew up with that stuff. There are phrases that only Grant and I know. And other people are like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, it's like a secret code.
Yeah, it is. Hey, Linda Knight is here. So there she is. Paulette's here somewhere. Where are you, Paulette? There's Paulette. So there, hello, Paulette, who was I myself certified in basic hypnosis. And I think that hopefully she's going to continue to go on because I feel that she's going to do it well, per se. And okay. Wow. Back to the podcast. This one is one for the books, guys. All right, Vinny. So back to Vinny. We were just talking about Vinny's article. When I first asked him about, say, hey, would you like to do an article or something for the magazine? And he sent me some stuff on organic hypnosis. You can buy it on sale at any grocery store. It's homegrown.
No GMOs.
No GMOs.
Right.
So, he sent it over, and I'm like, okay, this is an ad.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I don't have a background in that at all.
No, but when I got back to him and I said, hey, it's got to be an article format. I may have to change it. He goes, no, I got it. And then he sent it back, and it was an article. And it went really, really well. Once I explained it to him, he got it. He's like, I can do it. That's really good. So we were very, very happy about that. So I'm going to have him talk about his experience for a moment with that. So.
Yeah, so no surprise, perhaps, that was my first time writing a magazine article. I'd written like promotional copy before. I was like, what article? What does that mean? Do people read those? I'm not much of a reader. But we got it done. So I just looked up best practices real quick online. And then my wife has her master's in editing from Emerson, which is like the best school in the world to get your master's in editing and publishing in. So that was kind of helpful.
You don't say.
Shout out Susie. Like, hey, honey, make this coherent. Can you do that? It's not making sense. I don't even know what I'm writing here. But I did have writing classes, and I got to tell you a quick anecdote. I'm so sorry to do this to y'all. I have this professor. His name is Keith Kroll, and he would never not wear shorts. And he would come into class, and he would sit on his chair, and he would say, writing is rewriting. Why am I yelling? Everyone's right here. I just turned on my teacher voice. And then he would say, submit. Can I swear on this podcast? It's a direct quote. Is that all right?
So
your shitty first drafts are due Monday. And he would just assume your first draft was going to be shitty. So it took the sting out of it. So you just start pushing out content, and then you would rewrite it together. So I have had some fortunate experiences to draw upon, but I think that's a lesson we can learn. We can just do it, right? You can just absorb that, and it's going to suck, and then you're going to make it great. It's kind of how everything goes. So.
All right, guys. I'm going to take a pause here for a second before I get to Grant. We're 26 minutes in, so I'm going to click on, and I hope that this works, Grant, because this is my first time using the lottery jar. I should have got a hold of you sooner. So if this works, somebody's going to win a coffee cup. So let me see. I just go over here to click and get a winner.
Yep.
Jesse Lewis.
Congratulations,
Sir,
Jesse.
Congratulations, Jesse. I will get with you later. You are going to get one of their very first inaugural Hypnocafe coffee mugs. So that is something that we put together. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And we're going to keep going. So, Grant Saunders, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? And Grant has worked a little bit with the magazine with Jim Kellner. They sent us a great article on, gosh darn it, it's right here. Hold on. It was in the winter one, or is it here? Collaboration. So, yeah, and here it is, guys. The winter issue of the now Hypnoworld Magazine. I almost said Hypnoworld Cafe Magazine, but okay. So, yeah.
Which is getting as popular and as world-renowned as Sports Illustrated by the quality of cover models that you have.
Exactly. There will be no swimsuit issue. I warn you now.
Yeah. Please don't do a swimsuit issue.
Never. So, but yeah, that's part of our journey. Why did we change it to Hypnoworld? Well, Grant and I were talking about it, and it was something that he said, and I can't quite remember what it was, but you're like, oh man, it's really all over the world, and you got people coming in from all over the world, and they're reading it and seeing it. And I thought to myself, oh, yeah, it really is. It's no longer a cafe. It's not small. It's not local. It's not here in Michigan. It is everywhere. So we changed the name to Hypnoworld Magazine. And then the minute I changed it, I thought to myself, oh no, did I just do a horrible thing? Because I thought about Grant's podcast, Hypnoworld News.
I tell you what I really love about the magazine, especially in a digital world that we live in now. It's tangible. It's actually real, and there's so much weight and so much value to that. And I know I get excited to kind of see it come through as well. And if I get an email from someone, don't get me wrong, if you email me, I obviously value the email. But if I get an email from somebody, it goes in my inbox and that's that. To actually get something I can turn the pages and read and just have on the side, as if by magic, just have it on the side there. For me, it's just so important. And again, for people that contribute to it, you see in your article in print, there's so much more value to that. So I think for the work that you're doing on the magazine, thank you for the whole community, because there's lots of email lists. There's lots of subscription lists and all sorts of stuff that we're all signed up for. My inbox is filled with hypnosis products and trainings and next level stuff and all of that stuff. But to actually have a tangible magazine, which costs money to put together, I think is fantastic.
So yeah, and another reason that the magazine, you were just talking about the article on ego. I don't know if you've read that, Dennis, or Vinny or the guys, because I just sent out the winter issue. So if you haven't got yours yet, Dennis, it should be coming. So hopefully, he's looking at me like it hasn't come yet. But it is en route. I will say that. So we mailed those out the other day. Or a while back, but that ego article, you know what? I wrote that in response to something that Jim and Grant, and I don't want to put anybody's name out there, but we were kind of talking about it, and it wasn't until we got done talking about it that I thought about it in my own mind. The community within the community. There's you have that community where you're getting a group of people together and you're collaborating together. And then there's the what's in it for me group.
Yes.
And it's not that these people are evil, and every business person will ask, what's in it for me? We all do that. We're entrepreneurs. I
think this, I don't think it's necessarily, there isn't nefarious or bad. I think a lot of people in our industry, hypnotherapists especially, can become quite jaded when we see something or a project or something. They're like, where's the cash cow? Where's the switch going to be where I'm now going to have to sign up for something? Where's it going to cost me? And I know when we set up Aisha, there was people like, yeah, but you guys must be making money from it. It's like, well, no, nobody on the board makes any money. It's a not-for-profit. Right. We don't take anything out from it. And I think that's what we're seeing more of now. I think since the pandemic, there is more people that are like, actually, what can I do for the community? What can I do to actually just raise other people up and help raise me up at the same time, but not necessarily about how can I squeeze as much money out of these people and sell them fear and uncertainty. It's like, actually, no, how can I just deliver value and do a good thing? The magazine is a great thing. There's lots of projects out there at the moment that are great things. When people speak at conferences, Hypno Thoughts, Michigan, Pacific Northwest, Heartland, all of them, speakers. One of the things I love about hypnosis speakers, especially newer ones, is they over deliver value in that talk. They're not trying to sell anything. They don't want to sign you up to a course. They just want to go, here's all this stuff I've got inside of me that is bursting out of me that I want to share with all of my peers. And that's what I love about the industry. When people are so excited to share, like, these are the problems and obstacles I've had in my journey. Let me help you not have the same. And it's now done in such a way as like, I'm not going to do it to, I'm nothing wrong in setting up courses, but I'm not going to set up a course and sell you on it. I'm actually just going to go, listen, try doing this, see if that helps. And I think sharing value and that collaboration is the thing that makes this hypnosis community amazing. There's other guys out there that earn millions and millions and millions of dollars doing certain courses, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different way. And in my opinion, it's an older version of how that works. Now, I think it's got to be like value and sharing of that knowledge. Sorry.
Yeah, and that was another reason. Yeah, go ahead. Vinny wants to. Vinny.
Okay. So I just want to I really want to second that, and I think it kind of underscores a couple different things Grant said. Like, this really is a hidden gem in our community, this magazine. The tangibleness, yes, it's incredible. We talked a little bit about how people absorb more there, but also that level of collaboration. Like, even if you're an entry-level person, if you want to get started in hypnosis, there's a community of people out here. You can just join in. You can start to participate and absorb all this free insight. You can ask questions. The amount of Zoom calls I hop on people without the last thing in my mind is, how am I going to make money? This person, like, they're trying to help somebody stop smoking. That means a lot to me. I want to see that person quit smoking, even though I'm not the hypnotist. It's just incredible, right? And so you can get all this access to people in an industry that it's unlike anything else I've ever seen. I mean, we really care about this stuff, and we want to see you grow, and we want to make this positive impact on humanity with it. So, Grant, I think you nailed it. And I think it's another reason why the magazine's great too. Like, you can see the contribution.
Well, thank you. because sometimes when you're out there in the world and you're looking at an individual and you're screaming at them with your eyes for help, and they just take glee in watching your pain. I'm talking to you, Dennis Lawson.
I will never live that incident down, Dan.
First time I ever met him at NATH conference, this woman just starts wandering up to the podcast table in there and is talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'm like, I have no idea what she's saying, but she's talking about research and this and that. And I need to be at Harvard. And I looked at Dennis and I'm screaming at him with my eyes to help. And he's just like, hey. Well, you've got a resident one person there and you survived. And so
Well, since you drew me in on that, Dan, I'd like to also comment on what Grant and Vinny were saying. I think in many ways, the magazine and the work that you've done with the Michigan International Hypnosis Conference has allowed so many of us to move back into that place where it's all about developing that sense of knowing and liking and trusting someone where the sales is secondary. And so many people don't realize, when I did sales training, for example, people didn't realize that that word sales actually comes from to serve. And I think in many ways we're getting back to serving the community, and the profits come from that.
And that is one of the big reasons that we started the magazine, because I think I talked about this with you, Amanda. Mm-hmm. Initially, I still get, I can't remember the name of it. I'm an associate member of the American Psychological Association. Mm-hmm. And I got a magazine that comes with that. And as I was looking through it, I thought, man, we need something like this for hypnosis, because it was really something. It was easy to read. It was something a layperson could understand. They had articles in there from other people. I showed it to Heather, and she thought it was a great idea, which is really odd for me to have an idea that Heather agrees with. Because then Grant Singh said, yeah. So I was like, you know what? We're doing it. We're putting it together, full steam ahead. There's still work to be done on my part to make it better, to make sure that all those little typos aren't in there, to make sure that the layout is better, to make sure that the, that it's a good product. I think the winter issue had the lowest amount of typos and as the Captain Sean Kostak would call them, Easter eggs in it. And I think it had the best layout so far. So we're doing good there. And that I hope that it continues to grow. And I would just like to ask you guys, where would you like to see the magazine go from here? Starting with, I'll start with Vinny.
Yeah, I think I love how you're continuing to focus on fostering that sense of collaboration and community. I think, just something literally came to me in real time as you were asking that question. It might be cool to even have like a monthly or a quarterly meetup where people that read the magazine share their biggest insights, takeaways, questions, things like that. I bet that would be kind of awesome. Because here's the thing. I saw a post yesterday, and this lady, she was a RTT practitioner, one of these from the list of peers, I think it is. Mm-hmm. She was like, oh, yeah, going to the small business holiday party. And I'm like, that's a great idea. I want to make like a small business hypnosis holiday party. But even having like a monthly hang and just chat about the thing, you could have a little bit of structure. I think that could be really cool. Maybe they submit the questions in advance or their talking points. And so now it's like the and the community built on top of it.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I'm just not sure I'm the book club guy.
It could be a podcast episode.
It could be a podcast episode. Yeah. And so Amanda, where would you like to see the magazine go from here?
Well, let's start with the thing that I really enjoy most about it. And it's very informative, but it's not just for hypnotists. Anybody can pick it up and begin to learn things, but then you've got people from different sections, and that's where I benefit the most, because I get to hear about stage hypnosis techniques and think about how would I tweak that in clinical or in transpersonal hypnotherapy? So that's like a huge asset already. So that's one thing that I maybe would love to see more of, that you bring in so many different channels, but it's still accessible for any layperson who might just be hypno curious.
All right. And Dennis.
Well, I would reiterate the comment that Amanda made about the diversity of viewpoints: stage hypnosis, transpersonal hypnosis, past life work, trauma work. And as we grow as an industry, it's absolutely essential for us to be able to understand what other hypnotists are doing and specializing in. And the easiest way to do that is to read their article.
Yeah.
And you've created an environment, a magazine environment, where those ideas can be exchanged, where we can build that sense of collaboration. And, you know, I think it was Gandhi who said that every movement needs a literature, it needs a newspaper in those times. And I think your Hypnoworld Magazine, as it's expanded and continues to expand, can be that vehicle, as well as the podcast.
All right, and thank you. And about the podcast, before I get to Grant, I'm going to just say that, you know, one of the reasons that the Hypnocaf podcast does so well now on live is because of Grant. I was doing them initially on Zoom, and Grant introduced me to Be Live, and I thought, wow, I can do that. It turned out that I couldn't do that. The first few podcasts were just it looked like a flaming freight train, and thankfully Grant was like, how would you like some unsolicited advice there, old man? So Grant really became my live streaming mentor, if you will. So we're going to shout out to him and say thank you, because he is the reason now that there's sound. The video works. The background is good. I know how to use the snake. I've learned how to use the lottery jar. I can use the crawler. All that stuff is because of Grant Saunders. So thank you, Grant.
I don't know if I say thank you or that it's not my fault.
I did the best I could with what I had to work with.
It's amazing though. I mean, you know, obviously Be Live's a great platform, but having the little extra things like the snake and the lottery jar and learning as you grow, the audience grow with you, if you know what I mean. And so I love those first kind of podcast episodes where stuff doesn't go right. And then as you get better and more polished, which you only get better by when stuff goes wrong, and you realize that when you go live and you're on mute and nobody notices, you pick those things up. You get better when they happen. And so it's great to see your lives. I'm a big fan of this show as well, but it's also great to see how your confidence in your lives have inspired other people to go on and have their own podcasts as well. And so, you know, Amanda, your podcast is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Do you know what I mean? And it's great to see that, you know, how people grow and the community of especially people going live, because it's so scary to go live. Whereas I'm the opposite. Going live, I'm super happy to do. Put something down in permanent print, I'm like, that could be used as evidence against me.
Transcription is real, Grant.
Exactly. Whereas I love the imperfection of life because it's authentic. I think it's a way we can have a conversation. And as we know, Dan has a fantastic personality. And that comes across in your lives as well. So yeah.
So all right, well, and where would you like to see the magazine go from here, my good man?
More adverts. I think it needs more adverts.
Yeah, it does need more adverts.
Yeah, joking aside, and yeah, in a sense, it would be nice to see more people, you know, supporting it and getting behind it and putting in, you know, stuff that they're doing there as well. You know, obviously, we want it to always be something that you're going to deliver value and you can use as a resource. But it'd be great for people to rally behind that as well, because by doing so, it's creating a great resource for the whole community. Yeah. And you know, and it's exactly. Exactly.
Full page ad.
And every episode we want, every kind of publication wants to get better and better and better. And the way that happens is we all rally behind Dan and go, do you know what? We'll support from the beginning. And then when it's a super, super, super massive subscription database, we'll still get cheap adverts.
Exactly. Grant Saunders knows how to play this game, ladies and gentlemen.
I've always been a big fan of, you've got to support grassroots, because that's where, again, real value is pushed out and delivered. It's not about making money. It's about creating something great. And again, the magazine, this podcast, all is about exactly that. It's about supporting in the beginning. So then later on, when it's super successful, you can go, I was here in the beginning. You know, I love to see a band, you know, that is in a backroom venue, and then 2 or 3 years down the road, they're filling arenas. And I don't have to spend the massive hundreds of dollars to go see them, because I can go, oh, I saw them at the local Dog and Gun for $10 and they were amazing. It gives me credibility for that.
There you go. So, well, I can tell you in the future that we are going to continue to have those different articles in there, from, you know, the metaphysical to the stage to the, you know, to the business, to the science, the NLP. And we are working on more adverts, but we're going to go deeper. I want to have more articles about what's really happening in the world of hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and try and continue to do that. You know, it's not like I'm going to bother Dennis for more articles. I'd probably be bothering Dennis for more articles. So, but I have no shame, Dennis. But real quick, before we wrap things up, we're going to click the pod again here.
If I can add something, your historical biopic articles have been some of my favorite, especially because I'm newer into the industry. To get to read about someone like Ormond McGill is just amazing for me to have that take and to see where he pioneered. And it's super inspiring. So I hope more of those.
Yeah, we're going to continue to do that too, because there's an old saying in the fire service: you don't know where you are unless you know where you've been.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
That's awesome.
So let's see who's going to win this one. Let's see what we got here. Get a winner. Linda Knight. Linda Knight. All right. Guess what? She's the big winner. I'm going to get a hold of Linda Knight and Jesse Lewis. Let me write those names down before I forget them, because I will.
I'll screenshot them to you, Dan.
Yeah.
They're recorded.
Somebody remind me, Linda Knight and Jesse Lewis. Linda Knight has just won a 1-year subscription to the Hypnoworld Magazine.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's the big one right there. Jesse Lewis is getting the coffee cup. And, yeah, very happy to do that. And I am looking forward to a full new year of the Hypnoworld Magazine. And the next place I believe the Hypnoworld Magazine is going to be is at the Performing Hypnosis Summit in Las Vegas. So if you haven't got your tickets for the Performing Hypnosis Summit, the only summit dedicated to hypnosis entertainment in the world, in Las Vegas in January, where you can go there and not be sweating to death from the heat, do so. I have no shame, Grant. None whatsoever.
Do you know what, Dan? When you put it like that, I was on the fence, but now that you put it like that, I think I'm going to go to that one.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that Vinny should go to that conference. That would be a good conference for Vinny to go to. So, but, all right, guys.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I'm a little slow. I got the joke now.
No, yeah. Come to the conference. It would be buy a ticket right now. But I'm going to say thank you for everyone that was here, and it was great to talk about the journey in the magazine, and that it's going to continue, and that hopefully you guys continue along with it. I know that it wouldn't be anywhere without support from the collaborators and the people that have put in the articles and supported it, because the less I have to write, the better the magazine will be. I say that now with no humility whatsoever. The less I have to write, the better the magazine will be.
I've enjoyed your articles. You write some good articles. You've got to give yourself a tiny little bit of credit.
Yes, if you take the time to figure out what I'm trying to say. Like, I have no idea what he's trying to. Perhaps if I read between the lines. every other word, I'll get a message. The one thing that we probably won't be doing more of is the hypnoscripts, because we used to put those in there. I think those are going to go away.
Oh man, I liked that one.
Well, if you guys want to send any old scripts and say, hey, put this in there, that's fine. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a very conversational hypnotherapist. So I have only ever written about 13 or 14 hypnosis scripts in my entire career. And I think those are all in the magazine. I'm out, guys. I might have one that I can put in there.
We've got you.
All righty. But thank you for joining us for this extended and special episode. Look for us to come back, season 3 of the Hypnocaf Podcast. And we're going to have more special guests, and we're going to be talking about more stuff and hopefully having a great time doing it. So I want to thank all our guests, Vinny Brigance, Amanda Dodd, Dennis Lawson, who hopped in at the last minute to be a guest to help us out here. So very much thank you, Dennis Lawson, and to Grant Saunders, so that the podcast that goes live is now not a flaming freight train. And for supporting the magazine and for doing such great work. You guys all do. Amanda, Trauma and Transcendence, Dennis, NLP, NATH Conference, Vinny, helping people, 1 billion people to quit smoking. Grant, Performing Hypnosis Summit, awesome, amazing. So, hey, you know what? That is the podcast. And as always, I'll see you out there.
All right.